All right, so welcome back to our, I will now call Call of Cthulhu slash Deadlands crossover game. If anybody does ever watch this, we are switching over to Call of Cthulhu Pulp slash Down Darker Trails character sheets. Uh, we spent some time converting the Deadlands characters over to this. Why did we convert over? Um, well, I'll tell you that Deadlands game has a lot of awkward dice rolling. So, so we're moving over to what we hope to be a little more streamlined system. Let's see here. Vance, just because I'm looking at you, kid, why don't you give us a where we stand right now?
Let's see, we've cleared out the mine.
Want to drop your mic?
Thank you. Let's see, we cleared out the mine. We've investigated the pit, the lovely, lovely pit. And I believe we were heading back to town. When we cleared out the mine, we killed I believe we killed the gentleman inside, as well as the projection of himself that was inside. Thanks to Christopher Barnett's fine shooting by shooting him in his appropriately his sack, which was just a magical sack that he had around his neck, but he shot him in the sack nonetheless. And by doing so, he actually diminished the baddie quite well so that we were able to get past it.
Much to the dismay of the marshals. Carefully
Yes.
laid plans.
Yes. Then some people decided to root around in the piles or the pit of dead people. More power to them. And found some interesting tidbits about that. And then I think we were heading back to town, if I remember correctly.
Well, you rode down into Etna to get.
Oh, that's true. I did go get the other member of whatever that organization is. Wow.
Stonemasons.
Yeah, the Masons.
Latter-day Saints. Oh, no, it's close.
Yes. And so you brought Mr. Alex up, and he gave you his thoughts on what might have happened.
Pretty much said, "Don't go past that line."
And, yeah, and the mine was beyond the boarded up barrier was not explored, or at least proverbially, sticking a pin in it at least for a while. And I guess he retrieved his. You give him back the agreed upon amount of shells. Let's see here. What did you pull out of the pit?
Just the body. Matched one of the ones that matched the miners. Probably killed by the spiny creatures that we killed earlier, either by the quills, poison quills, or it was slashed. The body was also slashed, likely by the dark, sharp-bladed thingy that I shot in the sack. But the death was by poison.
And have you gathered any, for lack of a better term, material evidence, for lack of a better term, to perhaps present to Mr. Swearinger?
No, if I recall correctly, our directive was just to see what was going on at the mine, not to really bring.
Right, it was to monitor, not to return, not to
do
bring him
what we
anything.
did.
Yeah, that's valid.
However, there is an undead horse that's following me at a distance.
He's
yeah.
friendly. He's friendly. He
Yeah,
just
you
wants
just
to
have-
nuzzle.
Mostly friendly.
But from what Mr. Elk said, it's a horse of many people.
Wow.
So, I mean, at this point, you guys are, you spent not hours and hours up here at the mine, but a fair amount of time. And
By the way, your background music was a little loud.
okay, thank you. Sometimes hard to know because I don't know. I still haven't figured out that balance in Zoom, but whatever.
Well, I just know with that amount of base, I'm gonna have to go to the bathroom soon.
Getting that brown note.
So we'll say that the day is now starting to wane because it did take some time to head down to Etna, grab Mr. Elks, come back, and you did all the battling and such during the morning hours as well. So,
Frankly, I want to get back. I want to get a bath and some new clothes.
We want you to get a bath too.
well, I mean, the person in most of need right now certainly is Christopher, because he's covered in
Dead.
Body goo.
and not kind of Gord Duvall, but actual.
I think Not Vance is also in need of some rest.
Oh yeah, well, not Vance. I mean, he's had a trying adventure.
Some sand loss.
The Marshall is
He slept through most of it.
well. He slept through not of his own volition. But he did, clearly he is maybe not quite shocked per se, but the loss of his deputy is a significant blow to him, and it's starting to mentally show a little bit.
When we do get back to Sweetwater, a lot of people are going to give us the stink eye that we came back alive and the rest of the people from Coldwater didn't.
Well, I mean, not Vance made it.
Didn't the entire other posse,
Yeah, they're in the
some
pit.
posse get wiped
They're in the
out?
pit.
They're in the pit.
They're
You've never split the party.
Oh, we do have a wagon. We probably should come back and get those
yeah, we
bodies.
did. Remember,
Yeah.
that was me. I was the one who said, let's take the wagon.
That's true.
And we left it out. Well, unfortunately, though, as I recall, I think we left it outside of town, but it's not that far.
No, it's about 3 miles away.
So,
No,
yeah.
but we should probably go and get that, and then at least the sheriff and Not Vance can take the bodies back if we
Didn't
don't.
we burn a lot of bodies? Wasn't that also partly my idea?
Oh,
We threw a lot of oil in
yeah.
there, didn't we?
Yeah,
Maybe we should just let that one go.
I'm sure in any loved ones. I mean, certainly. Sheriff Bishop would like to recover Chubby's body for proper burial.
I mean, the
Well,
demon
make
started the fire. I saw it.
We can make
You
a
put the
dumb luck
torch
roll
to
to see if Chubby was one of the ones who was burned when we threw oil in there. you can tell it was him
That's relative.
by those
Well, the
42
problem is the posse, unfortunately, that got killed would have been
right on top.
on top. Right.
Yeah, but it was a big pit. I'm sure we didn't burn more
Big
than
pit,
a
so we'll
third of it.
say 50-50. How about that? Well, 76. Yeah, so Chubby got a bit. Chubby's
Singed.
still crispy.
Yeah.
But if I would think that perhaps if you waited a little while as well, you might, by the time you go get the wagon, not all of y'all have to go to that if you think the danger is largely past, but going down to Etna and get a good meal, clean up, etc. Probably a good idea before you head out back to Coldwater in general. Coldwater's a fairly long,
It was like a 2-day ride, wasn't it?
At this point, so
Yeah. I think our best bet would be probably if we went back to town, got cleaned up, got something to eat. Then we go and we bring the wagon back into town. Then the following morning we can go and recover the bodies that are needed. And hopefully we'll check the general store to see if they actually have, and this would be a weird thing for them to have out this way, but trout fishing pants. Waders or whatever it is, or gaiters, or they probably use them for pig farming. And that way we can get a couple of those, and then we can go trudging for the bodies and just leave those behind.
Well, luckily, you have literally right next to you Mr. Elks, and he does also run the general store / hardware store.
We just buy some coffins.
General stores don't sell them, but if they have an undertaker, we could probably get them put into boxes.
I mean, the general store might have like a used one, a secondhand.
Yeah, Mr. Alex does say, yeah, I've got a couple hip waders. When some pan mining was done in this area, that's largely played out now. But yeah, I've got a couple pair, not enough to outfit y'all, but I'm sure I got 2 or 3.
Yeah, 2 or 3 should do it.
I've heard of dumpster diving, but who wants to do carnal pit diving?
I've already done that once.
Yeah, most in the military have already done that.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you head on down to Etna? Is that the?
Yeah, we'll head down to Etna and we'll gather up everything. Carl can go take a bath. If need be, I will ride through and go get the wagon and bring the wagon back.
And then I think probably one of the first things we want to do is go through that sack.
Didn't we? I seem to remember him telling us some pieces that were in there.
We
looked
in the sack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quickly, not really examined it.
Yeah, and that was more me just sort of preluding with anything else. Gustav, if I recall, you were also kind of covered in some unpleasant gore.
Residue. Resident.
From the battle that was outside the mine. Vance, I can't remember you too. Didn't you have one of the bigger creatures kind of blurp on you?
Oh yeah, one of them did fall on me.
Yeah. Then he got kicked by a horse.
And I have been kicked by a horse.
That was when he was a kid.
Oh, that's a good point. You were not at full hit points then.
No. Yeah, good point. I have to take a look at what my hit points were to determine.
Whatever they were, they're 3 less now.
Okay. Yeah, because I think I used something to soak.
Somebody has an owie.
So I will try to keep running totals of things like luck and hit points and magic points and stuff like that, but I will trust that you guys will actually do that better than I. So
I'll let you know when I'm dead.
Right. So okay. So you get to Etna. A couple of y'all need some cleanup. I think Walt and Gabriel are probably the only 2 people that are relatively clean.
That's right. I'm dapper.
I don't know if you all want to go retrieve the wagon before cleaning up. That's all up to you.
I think you guys would be safe to animal drive that wagon back without a problem.
I actually have a little bit of whatever, the skill in teamsterism or whatever it is.
Perfect.
I can always use a little practice.
Shouldn't be too hard.
Since it should be safe now.
What's the skill for Teamsters?
Drive auto, but it's drive team basically.
Yep, I have base skill.
Yes, I have. I actually okay. I'm a slightly better than.
Although I'm better at that than writing.
I watched a YouTube video on it. Am I good?
Okay.
Right, if they go get it, the rest of
well,
us will get
yeah.
cleaned up, and then we'll discuss the pouch.
Right. I mean, worst comes to worst. I'm sure Lloyd can probably drive the wagon. I think he did some of the driving on it before.
Yes, actually, he
Yes.
did.
So that'll be up to you. Okay. So Vance, Chris, Gustav, I assume you head back to Miss Pone's house.
Yep.
And
Or about baths.
clean and the clothes get washed for you while you're bathing, that kind of good stuff.
Well, the good thing is I have a spare set of clothes. So.
Oh, there you go. That's smart. And Walt and Gabriel, I guess you head out with Lloyd and Sheriff Bishop to go retrieve the wagon. You head out. Pretty much remember where it was parked, as it wasn't terribly long ago. And once you get there, it has not been messed with in any way, shape, or form.
It's good.
So after a few minutes of lashing up a couple of the horses, and you start heading back. No big deal. Call it about an hour. 20 minutes to get there, 20 minutes to mess around with hooking up the horses, and 20 minutes to get back. So you get back into town pretty much early evening. We're talking 5:30 in the evening now. And the folks at State and Etna, you are all cleaned. Yay. Let's see. Mr. Elks has brought to Maz 3 sets of hip waders. And it is up to you as to what you'd like to do with the evening.
I want to have a good steak dinner. I think we earned it.
Not a half bad idea.
Oh yeah, decent meal.
As a slight holdover from the Deadlands thing, maybe not a bad idea, Walt. Maybe after you had your steak dinner, or maybe during the steak dinner, if you want to take the dinner at the saloon, is to tell the tale of how
Our intrepid sack shooter saved.
Yeah,
Etna?
how the Etna killer has been vanquished.
Gun hand.
Yeah, that will lower the fear around here.
Yeah, I'll give that. I will give that a try. Gather round, folks. Gather round while Uncle Walt tells you a tale about
Uncle
Christopher-
Larry tells you a story.
Christopher Sack Shooter Barnett.
Does anybody got some Pepperidge Farm cookies?
Pepperidge Farm remembers that you are a complete and utter bastard.
And the dead walk.
Man of it.
Ed, Aaron, were you channeling a little?
Not stone yet.
Were you channeling a little bit of Pet Cemetery, late '80s, on that one? I think I saw that with you at the theater, at the Capri Twin, or maybe it was the other one. I don't know.
Probably, yeah. So let's see here. What did the it's not so much it's kind of a fast talk.
Well, it's kind of you can average my persuade and fast talk. It's probably going to be about the same, okay? Because there's no direct translate. I don't know. It's probably more. It's more of a lengthy tale, so I'd say it's probably more of a persuading them that they're safe, and the Sack Tapper 5. That's our new gang term, by the way.
Sack Tapper 5.
Back blasters.
People wonder about that origin for a long time. Sack Tapper 5. So you spend a good, 15, 20 minutes kind of telling your tale while you put a chunk of steak in your mouth every now and then. And as you get about halfway through the story, one or two of the folks start talking to the bartender, and guy comes over, and by the time you're done with the tale, you probably got about 4 or 5 drafts of beer in front of you and a couple shots of whiskey in front of you. You get the feeling that you've done a good job telling your tale.
Right.
So Mr. Walt gets the first party check on his character sheet.
Okay.
Don't forget to check your persuade.
Take care of your waiters. All right. Well, my work is done here. I'm not drinking all that because I want my liver to function, but I'll have some of it, and I will. If any of my compatriots will join me, I will happily pass the free beverages along.
Oh,
And,
yeah, and I'm sure
It'll be great with that Texas with that bloomin' onion.
probably added in their own flourishes of bits and pieces. Well, don't forget to tell them about. I was about to say the torches, but that was yours.
And yes.
Those
And,
awesome torches that we made.
and it was I who shot the evil fell creature. Sure, he didn't care until Sack Tapper took him down, but I distracted him. I made that possible. He couldn't have saved everyone if he wasn't fixed on killing me. So he was free to shoot him. So anyway, yeah, that was a good evening. Told my tale, had a nice steak dinner, got a lot of free drinks, and unless there's something else really weird going on, I will probably call it a day.
Let's see here. That's fair. We did not have any. So what we're going to do here is, I'd like everybody to roll a D8. That will be your SAN loss for encountering this horrible creature, plus all the other little critters. But you will almost immediately get back some because you have resolved that issue. So we're going to kind of do a loss and a gain at the same time.
Is there a difficulty level associated with this?
It's just a straight 8. So.
In this one, there's, as I say, part of the beauty. No difficulty levels. So just roll a D8. That will be how much you lose, and then I want you to all then roll a D6, and that is what you will gain back.
So I don't have to worry. I lost 1.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I lost 4, got 3 back, so I'm down 1.
I lost 6, so hopefully I'll roll a 6.
You're gonna have daddy issues.
Ooh!
I lost 2 and I regained 3, so I guess I'm fine.
Lost 4, gained 6.
No loss.
I'm in the hole. Am I the only one who actually lost?
No, I'm on the hole for 4.
Oh, okay. I'll take my B in the hole for 1. Compared to that.
4.
Yeah.
Let's see. What was your adjustment, Gustav?
Lost 4, gained 6, so I guess I lose nothing.
No, well, you went up 2 because you have a max of 99.
Oh, okay.
No.
You actually can go up.
How did I get more sane from that?
Because the badness didn't affect you too much, but the sensation of having done a good job, made you feel better.
I'm at
You have
67.
strengthened your resolve.
So I went down by 2 and up by 3. Does that mean I up my sanity to 76?
It does.
Sweet.
My current SAN will be 71. That'll be easy for you to.
Hey, this is easy. We should deal with Cthulhu stuff all the time.
As long as Christopher is with us, we'll be sucking our thumbs if something happens to him.
I'm now at 89, Sam.
Me too.
Heard about sanity. I was like that before the war.
You're at 89. Lance, I got you at or Vance, I got you at 71. Mark, 89.
Correct.
Dr. Gabriel, what, 67? Or
Trot
no,
is at 76.
76. And Gustav, you're at 67. Does that sound right? Okay, cool. All right. Bookkeeping done. Let's see here. So, after the telling of the tale, sort of a certain apprehensiveness seems to unwind like a sore muscle finally starting to unbind itself a little bit in the town, or at least the read that you get while you're here in the saloon. Unlike the night before, when you came in, admittedly it was a little bit later on in the evening. There's a little more looser chat now, and a couple people sit down and start playing Pharaoh and cards of various sorts, and it seems the mood has lightened, which is a good thing.
Is there a gambling mechanic? I do have some gambling skills. I might as well try to
There is Gustav,
screw a few people.
percent in it. And that doesn't mean 50% of the time you win or lose. You would go up against other people's gambling skill, and the odds are very good that most other people are not at 50%. But you want to weigh that versus now's probably not the time to bilk people out of their money.
Never let me do anything fun.
That's just a little thought in your head.
But that's my character.
that is, and as I say, that was just a word in your head. It's not necessarily me saying that you can't.
Perhaps
Next
tomorrow.
time
You can, but you oughtn't.
Right.
Little guy pops up on your shoulder in a devil outfit, and then the other one on the shoulder is the one with an angel.
It reminds me of Emperor's New Groove. No, he's got a point.
So
It's actually an underrated movie.
Did you bring the bag that your party is now named after, or?
That's in my side pocket.
Okay.
We'll probably review that not in the bar.
Yeah, because that free and easy feeling would probably go away pretty quick.
You're like, what the hell are you doing with that stuff? That looks like some of that witchy craft.
Well,
Why do you have a bag of human teeth? Oh,
most people
no reason.
would look at that and it would just look like a little bag of just sort of knickknacks and stuff. That is to your discretion. So the evening kind of hums along.
Zora!
I'll let you set the pace of it, or you can just kind of
Zora!
let the day go by as the case may be. Does anybody have anything that they want to do in the saloon / remaining in the town for this evening?
For this evening, I do not. Probably go back to the rooms, and in the rooms, we can, if anyone wants to look over the bag of knickknacks, we can.
Okay.
Probably do it in one room.
Knickknacks being the stuff we picked up from the mine.
The pouch.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
All right. Do you leap ahead of everybody else, or is everybody else extracting themselves as well?
We're gonna go through the stuff. I'll stay awake for that.
Yeah.
Okay. You head back over to Miss whatever the hell the boarding place is called. Gustav, could you please roll me a All right, guys, what's the equivalent of perception? Well, shit, I guess it's a scan. Hey, that's right. We have
Scan.
that now.
We
Yeah.
actually have scan now. Yeah.
Neat.
Yeah. Oh, good. I have 50%.
Oh, yeah, I
Only
will,
we
of
had
course,
scan.
look around the town to see if there is a ugly horse.
So, again, I'm pretty new to this. So I have, let's see, I have my 100% dice and then my regular D10. Do I just roll them both? That's my percentage?
Yep.
Now, there will be times where I will be rolling, and there are times where when I will ask you to be rolling.
55. So that's a success for me, I think. Or do I have to
You
roll
want
under?
under.
You want under.
Oh, I have to roll under.
Yes,
Oh, then that is not.
that is not. Okay. All right.
He's watching other people on the boardwalks.
I'm doing something else, obviously.
And
Maybe inspecting my eyelids for light leaks.
inspect your eyelids for any cracks in them that allow accidental light
Pinholes.
in.
Gotta watch out for those eyelid pinholes.
Just so you know, Gustav, I'm filling in all of your stats that you did not put points in. So I'm putting like a 20 into your climb and blah blah blah. That way it fills out all the hards and extremes.
Oh, okay. Even for the ones where I'm just base stat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Just makes it more convenient when I do a quick glance at it.
Okay. Cool.
Sounds like a good idea.
Let's see here. Vance, yes, you do know at the very periphery, the bad horse does still seem to be hanging around in the area. Now, you didn't particularly notice it coming back up to the mine with you. So is it just hanging around town or is it hanging around you? You're not 100% sure yet. I'm sure you'll figure that out in the next day or so.
Horse really wants to kick me now.
So you get back to the boarding house. If I remember, one of the rooms was bigger than the other ones. So I'll assume that you choose that one, whichever room that one was, to take a look at.
Move the
whatever-
nightstand over. Take everything off the nightstand and open up the bag on top of the nightstand.
Okay.
So we can all just kind of look at it going,
Alrighty. So.
Her skull.
Yeah, let's look at that again here. Right, so the bag was probably, about the size of everybody's relatively now familiar, about the size of a dice bag, right? Of a good sized one.
Oh, a Crown Royal bag.
Your standard dice Crown Royal bag. I guess you just whatever you dump the contents out onto the
Carefully.
yeah, and indeed you got, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, there's seven bits of stuff. Realistically what you see is a fingernail of almost assuredly a human. You're not sure. It's not a thumbnail. It doesn't strike you as being a toenail. It appears to be one of the four fingers nail. It could be a child's index. It could be a man's pinky. It is fairly blunt and heavy. So you surmise it's probably from a male who's a laborer of some sort.
Okay.
You find an ear of probably a wolf due to its size and hair color. And it's a black tipped with dark brown hair on the sort of inner portion of ear. You notice that the cut at the base of the ear. Looks like it's slightly cauterized. You find at this point, it's almost hard to tell exactly what the hell it is, but yeah, it's a dried up, relatively large spider. Most of the legs have come off of it at this point, but yeah, it's a spider of some ilk. I'm sure maybe the doctor or if anybody has a zoology.
Natural world.
Natural world might get it. Sure. Well, if you feel like rolling on that. Who else is playing with the bits? Who else is up with Vance?
I am.
I think we all.
I think all of us are.
Yeah, I thought we all were.
I do not recognize the spider.
Mainly, I just wanted to handle the sack.
If you guys, I guess if you guys are all going, I'll go.
Okay, so as I say, for identification beyond kind of general description, as I say, a natural world, or if you have something more specific in the science realm, you're welcome to roll that. You're not under any pressure or anything, therefore no hard or extreme difficulty is necessary. You're just looking for a success.
I'm just gonna try my base natural world, which is not very likely, but you never know. Nope. Never mind.
I got a 46. My natural world is a 40. I didn't pick biology though, because I.
Right. Good stuff. Did you give it a shot?
I didn't hear you. Say again.
Trying to identify a beat up spider.
You said natural world. I don't have that.
Hey, you did 10%.
Yeah, it's a base.
That's the base if you don't have anything else in it.
Go. Oh. 2.
A 0-2.
A 0-2.
Fair
There's
enough.
one of those spiders in your aunt's basement
When
you were a kid.
It is a relatively large wolf spider. A little bit larger than you would, well, actually a fair amount larger than any wolf spider you've seen in this area, which strikes you as particularly odd. You may now also put a check by your natural history. So when we do basically in the little box right before it says natural, you put a little check there. And when it comes time for character improvement, that signifies when you can, that is one of the skills that you can improve upon. Succeeding again on a skill that's checked off does not give you more of an opportunity to increase. And once we do it, the increasing and such, you remove the checks and you start kind of over again. So there's that. Next bit, it is a tail of a critter. Everybody can roll natural history with advantage on this one.
Oh.
Does that mean we treat it like a 20?
No, it means you get to roll twice and take the better, and in this case, the lower of the roll.
Of the D10s, right? Not the
of the of the tens.
In pulp, it is just of the D10s. I just assume y'all just roll the percentage twice.
Well, either way, I missed twice.
Yeah, I missed twice.
Yeah, I blew it twice as well. I was paying more attention to human anatomy than human biology.
Yeah, it's a tail.
Nope.
Okay, it's a tale of.
Aaron's like, you guys suck. You can't make a roll.
It's a tale of something.
I make my rolls when they count.
Yeah. Thank
Anybody
God
wants
for
to
that.
any luck or anything? No. Okay.
Nah, not for that.
Not when you roll a 93 and a 94.
No. And don't forget, you can quote unquote push a skill roll by taking more time and such like that. But again, if you fail on a push, something quote unquote catastrophic could potentially happen. In this case, you might accidentally tear apart what you were looking at or something along those lines. Oh, and the tail is actually in two parts. It looks like a bullet somehow went through it.
Because a bullet went through it.
Probably because the bullet went through it. Let's see here. A chunk of dense muscle. I think I already told you what this was beforehand, but again, natural history rolls at advantage on this one.
Does this look human or does it look like something else?
You can roll a medical roll it will tell you what organ it is.
A 5.
I must have had too much to drink. I needed an 80. I got a 96.
Wow. Okay.
Man.
Christoph, you rolled a 5.
Yep.
Okay. It is definitely a significant chunk, or well, not significant, but a small handful chunk of a horse heart. Next sort of natural bit, it appears to be a chunk of an intact small horn from some animal. And yet, once again, last time you have to do this, you can roll for natural history with advantage to attempt to identify it beyond it being a chunk of a horn.
I have a powerful headache, and I probably had a little too much to drink because I rolled another 96. I should probably go rest.
It's best to get these out now. Nobody?
It's a horn.
Okay, it's a horn. The last thing in the bag, and you're a little surprised it didn't slice up the bag, is now a clearly shattered
razor blade
of a hand razor.
Yeah, that's right.
For shaving the beard. So the classic, Queenie Thomas, switchblade kind of shaving blade. You can see it was deliberately cut, so it's just a part of it, so it could fit in the bag. But you see, again, this has been amazingly hit by a bullet. It's dented and broken into a couple pieces. And that is what was in the bag.
I guess we can put all this stuff back into the bag.
Yeah, don't forget the bag does have 2 bullet holes in it.
Right.
Yeah.
So you might want to put that bag in a
bag.
Put it and wrap it with a handkerchief.
Sure, something like that, or yeah. But something to keep all the contents together.
So the dried spider legs don't fall out.
Here, just give me the bag. I'll stitch it up.
Let's see here.
Suture it.
I don't know if I want the doc handling my sack with a needle.
Now the doctor does have some samples himself. I don't know if you want to wait until you get back to Coldwater so you can examine the samples that you have gathered, perhaps in the doctor's office.
I'll tell you what. Clearly I'm mentally wiped out, so I think I'm going to go turn in.
A good night's sleep might help, of course.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try one last time. Maybe I'll do something useful.
But I can stitch up.
Yeah, I really need to get some shut eye.
I will stitch up the bag before I go to sleep, so you got something.
Okay, good call.
I think we can say that these had some sort of significance to the creature. Don't know what.
I think the shattered razor represented the claws, perhaps. Maybe that in alignment with the fingernails? I don't know.
Yeah.
Walt and Gabriel, I guess before truly heading to bed, you kind of hear that conversation start up. You do recall right near the end of the battle, when the bolts started going into the bag, that the creature did seem to morph as it was getting hit. It lost its sort of super daggery blade-like arms and turned into what appeared to be more humanistic arms, and a rather hard, almost gelatinous style carpus form seemed to sort of drift away into what appeared to be a more pliant body form. So take that as you wish. But you do recall that as the critter then healed over and started to discorporate. Trying to think of more words that I can do that are kind of non-descriptive, descriptive words. But anyway, so you recall that as you head to your respective rooms after a night well earned of sleep.
Except for Gustav, we'll probably have
Yeah,
nightmares.
you know I don't sleep.
And I remember, I don't want to have the room next to him.
Rock back and forth.
I've
Howl.
had enough bad sleep.
Can't sleep. The clowns will get me. Can't sleep. The clowns will get me.
Is everybody heading to bed at this point?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you start to do the whole sleep time thing. Let's see here. There is, of course, some good news. When you all wake up the next morning, if you're down any hit points, you go up by 2 hit points.
Ooh.
Cover 2 hit points.
We got that going for us.
So you do got that going for you. Who was sleeping? Who wants to say they were sleeping next to Gustav's room?
If I remember correctly from the last time, it was Walt,
the short straw.
the doctor.
Yeah, but I know better now.
He's learned his lesson.
Yeah, I'll be next time.
He'll hold his
Okay,
hand, dab his brow when he sweats at night.
All right.
If it was me, it wouldn't matter.
You don't recall over the course of the night hearing Gustav have any particular issues sleeping. Then again, you were pretty damn tired, so there is that. Gustav, once again, when you woke up this morning, you do not feel like you have a sense when you've had a bad nightmare. Maybe a little extra dampness on the pillow, to a little bit of sweating or what have you.
A little dampness on the sheets.
Just a general sense of not particularly good sleep. You don't have that sensation. Alternatively, you don't have a sensation of being well rested, though.
I'm used to it.
Okay, fair enough. So that's where that is. So it's the morning. You all wake up. Cock-a-doodle-doos from local farm and what little hustle and bustle there is here in Etna. And the smell of very hearty breakfast wafting up the stairs, prepared by Miss Pone.
That's what wakes Vance.
Bacon.
Is that coffee? Coffee.
So definitely coffee, definitely bacon, eggs, probably a little bit of either a fried chicken or a sausage of some sort, and probably some bread and muffins and some juice and coffees.
No muesli? No lingonberries?
She only has so much time.
Yep. Her last name isn't Swedish.
Right. You also find Gustav, Vance, and
Music got kind of loud again, by the way.
When you open your doors, you find a small package wrapped in paper and some twine. You've seen this before. This is how often freshly washed clothes are dropped off to their guests.
Ah, excellent.
You can thank me for that.
Be more than happy to don my clothes and then
Are you gonna don me now your gay apparel?
probably have to go and, if we hadn't already, go ahead and pay the general store for the overalls.
Okay, so you get dressed. I assume you sup first. You had
Yeah.
your food and such.
Yeah, break fast first.
It's pretty brilliant, pretty awesome. You all enjoy it. And after you've had your fill, Vance, you head on over to the general store, and you see Mr. Elks there. He's pretty bleary-eyed, a lot of redness in his eyes. He goes, "Oh, well, I thought you'd be coming by."
Were you drinking much, or were you just staying up burning the midnight oil doing research?
Doing some research. And I had to find those stupid waiters. Hadn't been much call for them. Had to dig around for them.
I appreciate that you were able to locate the waiters.
I did find them. And so going through some additional documents, we had a little bit of a discussion about this 2 nights ago. He kind of looks around, kind of makes sure that his wife isn't walking around. So, you know, if you weren't sure before, I'm sure you come to you that there are magics in this world.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the Masons, I won't say practice, but follow and research these sorts of things. Up until recently, magics in this world were quite consistent. And what we encountered as far as the symbol up in the mine was part of that older consistent magic. If you will, the newcomer, the new types of magic. Well, those started obviously. I'm sure if you didn't witness it yourself, that started up in 1863. And the whole ghost rock and the mad scientists that are out there. That mad scientist stuff isn't pure science. There's something else going on. And not really sure what. None of our books reference any of that stuff. It is, for all intents and purposes, for an old organization that I'm involved in, it's new. As in 15-year-old new. So that's certainly interesting. I believe that the creature that you described was part of this new, not part of the old.
Figured, well, that makes sense.
Insofar as what I can't, so I can't discuss much about that because I don't know much about it. So talking of the old, the symbol that is there is a permutation a more powerful version of something that is called an elder sign. It is more involved and ritualistic than what is standardly created. It is designed to create a barrier, a relatively speaking impassable threshold of certain creatures and certain powers that they and indeed people can manipulate. It is often used to keep things in. Imagine you had a chest, and the chest has a gas in it that you want to make sure doesn't escape from the chest. You would perhaps line the edge of the chest with wax, create a seal so that the gas wouldn't escape from the chest.
Okay.
So these elder symbols are kind of like that. They are a seal to prevent something coming across. Why this one was done different than the traditional style hints at something darker going on of whatever is behind that barrier. I had noticed as we were riding back that we have quite a bit of dynamite on it.
Yes.
We like to come prepared.
Best.
Are you experienced with the use of said
Experience
really.
with
those style of explosives?
no, don't have a just kind of figured out we brought them along just to be able to probably close up the mine.
Well, I'm of two thoughts on that. Had you done some sort of detonation that would have caused the complete collapse of the mine, the odds are good that would have also caused the collapse of that barrier. And that might have also taken down that symbol, which would have then potentially released something quite strong.
So you think it's a protection against something getting out, not for something getting in?
Correct.
Oh, I'm so glad that my compatriots didn't have the mind to tear down that
Could've gone
opening.
very wrong.
Now,
I
if you
thought
were to
about
take
it.
that same dynamite and say blast the entry to the mine, that might not be a terrible idea.
That was my original idea, was to collapse the opening of the mine.
You might want an experienced prospector in there who's experienced with hard mining, just to make sure that there aren't any Tommy knockers.
Are there any miners left in town?
Are they all? You can find them all in the pit.
Not that I know of. No, at least again, no hard rock miners.
If there was, somebody that retired and that was still in the area, that would have been good.
Most miners don't typically, if they make their money, they make their money and move on. If they don't make their money, they just plain old move on, for the most part. I'm sure there's got to be a couple prospectors who come through, but none that I can think of anytime recent. Perhaps in one of the bigger towns, hell, perhaps up in Coldwater.
Yeah, I just figured 3 sticks on each side of the opening should cause a collapse of that front end.
Yeah, as I say, I would just, have somebody do a good thorough inspection first, because if there's a fissure or a crease or something like that, that could tumble down a lot more than you think. I didn't go into the mine, and last time I went into the mine was quite a long time ago. Do you recall seeing any blast marks, or was it pick work?
I wasn't paying too much attention to the walls. I was paying more attention to what was in the mine itself.
Sure. Totally understand. If you want to do, you can do a knowledge roll at a hard.
Okay. $23. Which I don't. Hard. Yes, actually, it would be.
Okay. I guess you picked up on it somewhat surprisingly. Gustav and Chris would have had a straight roll on that because they've been in the mine twice at least. You recall it being strictly pick.
And I will reply, actually, thinking back on it, I believe it was all just pick work, it looked like. I didn't really notice any blasting. Everything was very jagged. You could see the creases in the stone from where pickaxes had set in.
Hard work. But, depending on the geology of the rock, that might have been the right way to go. Also, depends on how the seams went. Might not have been worth blasting. So, still, that's hard going. But anyway, I thought I'd drop you that knowledge. I'm gonna have my wife take over. I'm gonna head to get a couple hours of sleep here. There's the waiters.
What do I owe you for the waiters?
$6 for the 3.
I'll pay him $7.
Excellent.
If you've been more than gracious with us and for finding those for us, it's much obliged.
Well, as always, if you pick up some tidbits of information, passing it along would be appreciated as well.
You have an undertaker here. I hadn't noticed.
Well, no, that's largely taken. A group gets together, does the diggings, at the preacher here. We do have a carpenter who will put together, coffins when necessary.
Because I think we're going to have to go recover the bodies of the fallen posse, and thinking I was either going to have to wrap them in tarps or preferably put them in boxes to take them back.
Well, I got the tarps.
Well, I doubt he's got coffins on hand, so let's just get the tarps then.
Yeah, they would be made basically on demand.
Yeah.
In a town this size.
And I don't feel like waiting for him to build them.
So he rummages in the back and grabs, a handful. How many you need? 10? What? I don't know how many you need.
I think there were only 5 in that posse. 6.
Well, Tony ran off with them, so you split in groups of 5 each, plus the marshal and the deputy. Right, so there were a total of 6 in each posse. And Tony had left, so a total of 7.
Oh, 7. Okay. They had more people.
All right. Yeah, they had one more person than you did.
For 3 waiters. What do I owe him for the 7 tarps?
They're 50 cents a piece.
So $3.50. All right. Give him the $3.50 and the 7, so $10.50.
Right. at this point, the whole party should probably knock you down as somewhere on your character sheet as far as an ally of knowledge, if you will,
Okay.
of Mr. Elks of the town of Etna.
Yeah, if I find stuff, I will probably. Do they have a telegraph in this town?
No. There is one.
Oh, because there's no train station.
There is one in Coldwater, but telegraphs haven't gotten to the smaller towns yet.
All right, then I'll just. There's probably no Pony Express that goes to this town.
Oh yeah. They get. Pony Express will divert.
All right, then I will get his information to send letters by Pony Express, if I don't make it out here myself, of any unusual things that I come across.
I mean, that's one of the things where you could hire a teenager in Coldwater saying, "Hey, here's a parcel. Ride down to Etna, drop it. Mr. Elks at the general store, kind of thing."
Yeah. Okay.
Cost you probably like $1.
I will
That's
write.
like for hiring a kid for 4 days.
Significant people. Elks. What was Mr. Elks' first name?
Look at my notes.
Wasn't Terrence, was it?
Oh, here.
Why am I remembering a Terrence?
Tully.
Tully.
Now you can recommend Miss Pone's boarding house. Decent place to stay. One of the only places to stay. Also. Okay, so while Vance is out, does anybody have anything that they want to do, or are you just sort of enjoying a nice breakfast, or gathering up the horses perhaps in the wagon?
Yeah, I think we're not gonna. I mean, it's not our wagon. We're not gonna keep it, are we? I mean, not that I think a wagon would be that useful to us, but I mean, sheriff let us borrow it. He didn't say you could just friggin' have it, so we should probably turn it in.
I think we used the wagon to get the bodies back to Clearwater, and then we handed over to the sheriff. And I'm thinking that's probably our next move.
Yeah,
We've done what we came to do here, and we've tracked down as I've been calling him, the Dark Assassin, and ended him. We've scouted the mine. I think it's time to get back and report our findings to Mr. Swearingen. Now it comes down to, what do we tell him? Do we tell him everything that we found and did, or just said that mine you wanted us to observe? The big pit, smoke coming out of it, no real activity around it. When we talked to the people in town, maybe mentioned that there was a bunch of miners, and they seem to have all been killed. Do we want to get into the details of the thing that we killed?
I don't see a whole lot of. I mean, I don't see a point of concealing anything from him, because he's gonna be able to find out what he needs to find out. So we'll tell him the truth. And we could just say, there's something evil killed all those miners. I don't mind telling him, because you just told the town a story. What we tell him should match.
yeah. I mean, I would suggest I do the telling too. I mean, he's obviously heard it's the Weird West, right? So he's obviously. We talked about the whore and what happened with her. So yeah, I think we.
There's your flower.
And the impression I got was that he did not want the mine. The mine should not have been disturbed, in his opinion. So, he may be aware that there's something.
Someone already disturbed disturbed the mine before us.
Well,
so.
no, I'm just saying he wanted us to check it out because people shouldn't have been messing with that mine. So I think what we tell him kind of jives with what he probably already knew from before. I don't know.
I think so. But I'd say if we're all in agreement that the mine should be blown first, I think we should blow it and then say for the public safety we blew the entrance to the mine.
I don't think that's a good idea. Because
I don't think we have necessary skill to do it properly.
It's not our mine, and it's not
light and chuck it.
No, you're right. But then the guy that paid us a lot of money to deal with this mine, who did not say seal it up, he said investigate and tell me what you find. We can always come back and blow it up.
Or more bad things can happen is people try to disturb that seal that's keeping whatever in. But all right, well that's fine. I'll go with the group.
There was a story about these dwarves, little people with beards, that disturbed a mine and they dug a little bit too deep. I read a book about it. I don't think anybody's going to stumble across it in the next day or two. He can send his own crew to go blow up the mine, or he can pay us another $100 to do it for him.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I think at this point, just kind of refresh and recharge. I think we should head back to Coldwater and kind of close our business out of Swearingen. We might have more work for us. And Doc, you're probably professionally, you might want to check in with your town folks since you are the doctor. By the way. Yeah. Well, why do we have all these bodies in my office? Because you've been gone for a week, Doc.
And this time, at least, we won't be following something, so we can move it a little bit of a more direct path.
Yeah, and not have to make lots of writing rolls for those of us who aren't good at it.
Well, that's a good point. I mean, you will have, you'll be able to follow the roads, which is always nice. But as far as
by the way, the music's gotten loud again.
Yeah.
Sorry. Changing something else.
Skinny puppy, 9 Inch Nails.
As far as the doctor's office, you know that it's currently under the semi-watchful eye of Mr. Palmer. So
I guess when I get back, I'll
a creepy undertaker watching a doctor's office.
When I get back, I'll present the overalls and say, okay, I got the overalls and I got 7 tarps. I figure we'll load the bodies up in. I figure the sheriff and his deputy can take the bodies back. We'll ride ahead and take care of our business. Sound good?
Yeah, Lloyd does go, you are going to help us at least get the bodies out of the pit, right? I mean,
that's why there's 3 waiters, yeah.
Okay, good.
Wait, that's why we have hired help. I'm sorry.
Don't we have some Irish that can do this for us?
I'm not climbing in that car pit and hauling bodies. I'm telling you right now, I'm serious. I'm not doing it.
Well, I didn't think you would be doing it, but I figured myself, Barnett, and probably Gustav might actually.
I'll write about your hard work.
I've already been in there once.
This time we got protection.
Oh, if we're going to do that, let's make sure we take a bunch of buckets of water with us so we can. Waiters are a good thing, but we're going to be a mess.
Good point.
Okay, so you gather up some water, a couple bit more supplies, and Gustav, you haven't said much. Is there anything that you want to cover?
Well, no, I'm trying to work in like my character's motivations and propensities to all this, but like you said, it's probably neither the time nor the place. So I'm trying not to go with what I would do. I'm trying to go with what Gustav would do.
Hey, Sheriff, is there a Is there a chance that we can?
I don't think I'd go to the library. Just saying.
Sheriff, is there a chance that my friends can be paid the duty of pulling those bodies out and sorting that out? I mean, that's a day's hard, ugly labor.
It would be some pretty heavy labor. I'm sure you could probably simply, ask around town for, relatively speaking, not too much money.
Can I just point out the doctor can spend $125 a day. He can blow money like.
Did you hear me? Did you hear me say for my friends?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not with you people, and I'm not going to that pit.
I'm not going to the pit either.
I'll investigate it when you lift them out, but.
Yeah, especially
You see this suit? This is a nice suit.
He's living. He's got a new quality of life.
No, I just there's people can pull, but there are undertakers. There are people for doing bodies. I'll try to keep them alive, and I'll investigate them when they die. But
I guess the only question is how many people do you want up there?
Yeah.
Possibly, after they're done moving around, if you hire local people, if you will, there might be looky-loos later on.
And on top of that, we just got the fear factor of the township down.
What do you mean?
The last thing they need to go in and see a whole bunch of dead corpses and have that visual in their heads. And they start telling everybody else about it, and then new wild stories start coming up.
How about this? Why don't you pull the posse, pull the Clearwater bodies out, and then throw dirt in over the rest?
All we were doing was pulling out the Clearwater posses.
Yeah, exactly. And then we
the hell with the miners.
And then we thoroughly burn.
So here's the thing: is they're Christians and they deserve a burial. I mean, I'm not saying pull them out and lay them nice graves, but throwing some dirt over them seems to make some bit of sense.
I'd say burn them and then throw a bunch of dirt over them.
That's fine.
Well, I mean, without pulling them out, eventually the priest will probably end up doing it himself.
Oh.
Look, I'll shovel as much dirt as necessary to cover those bodies.
That's got to be multiple days.
Yeah.
To be clear, we're not retrieving all of them, just the ones we think were from the last two groups.
Yep.
But what, the miners or the posse and the miners?
Just the posse.
We're just pulling the posse out. Okay. So the posse will be wrapped up in the tarps. It'll be 7 bodies that will load into the wagon, and those will be taken back to town, our town.
That's going to be pretty ripe. They're already probably bloated, except the ones that are burned and bloated.
Burned and bloated. That's the name of my memoirs.
Pretty.
I want
That's
credit
the name of my
that.
high school band. I mean, that kind of stuff back in the era that you're in now is sadly pretty common. We're a lot more disassociated with that portion of human death than they were back then.
Well, I got a question that I don't know. Well, first of all, sheriff should be happy to pay for anything because first of all, think of how much money he's saving by not paying out all that posse money.
It's going to be going to local family.
Yeah, it would be going to the local families.
Oh, all right. Did the contract specify that? All right. Well, anyway, survivorship benefits. I don't know. I just want to get back to cold water as soon as possible, just because I'm tired of this part. I'm tired of Etna. I'm tired of this mine. I want to set up on some new trails. So, whatever we need to do to wrap it up, let's wrap it up.
Well, you can sit up on the ridge and write in your little book, and the rest of the
This
men will go down in low body.
Make me immortal. I won't be as rich as the doctor though, because I don't have a non-estranged family member who has a lot of money.
So you guys know that I inherited money, but you don't know that I'm that rich. And that's not something that I haven't changed my lifestyle for that. So
you mean besides the fact that you
I'd be much
put a new
obliged
pair
if
of
you
underwear
stopped
on
talking
every
about
day?
What's that?
Well,
Besides the fact that
Trout
you
has
don't
not
wear the same pair of underwear
spoken-
twice.
Look, you can take my leftover toilet paper, which happens to be $1 bills, and you can keep those if you're poor enough.
See what I mean?
Look at the hoity-toity doctor. He wears underwear.
Dr. Trout has not
Who wipes?
said much of anything concerning any cash values.
All right, all right.
I mean, he inherited a disused bank.
Yeah, disused bank. It was like, woohoo! He's got a building now.
And apparently some crates that are showing up soon.
Right.
Full of
And
oddities.
out of character to Dr. Trout. Have you even mentioned the farmhouse?
I believe I mentioned it to him. We were going to.
Oh yeah. He did say something about some land or something.
Right. Okay.
That's fair enough.
So, at this point, I mean, there's no doubt that Lloyd and the sheriff himself are like, yeah, well, we do need to get a move on with this because I'm the sheriff of a town that currently doesn't even have a deputy.
Yep. Well, let's write it out and take care of this.
Right up. All right. So head on back up to the mine. You don't find anything particularly different outside of the fact that there is no more wisping smoke coming from the pit. A new day. The only thing that you particularly noticed that maybe you would have expected, maybe some carrion birds, maybe starting to pick at stuff. You don't see that either.
Not even the carrion birds want to come around here.
So
I'm gonna bury these boys deep. I don't want to have to bury them again.
Same thing with there doesn't appear to be any sign of
Coyotes, foxes,
or anything along those lines trying to pick at anything. So not terribly surprising at this stage of decomposition, but certainly if you had left it for a couple more days, at least under normal situations, most of these bodies would be largely dispersed by Mother Nature. So you start the unpleasant tasks of either observing and or actually digging out corpuscles from the pit. Trick is the identification of the actual posse. You're having to do it largely by clothing, boots, such like that, and I suppose really the sheriff is more of the person who's kind of in there. Yeah, okay, that's him. I'm pretty sure that's Charles. Over there is Eric. We got Mr. Fox over here, that kind of thing.
This guy has a Bowie knife on his belt and a silver pocket watch.
Yeah, so...
I mean, a Bowie knife.
The identification doesn't take terribly long, but it is pretty unpleasant. So, but Walt and Dr. Trout, you all both have said that you're kind of staying out. The sheriff is in there. He has to be, so... He grabbed one of the trousers. So if
to
you
make myself feel better about not going in the pit, I will investigate each of the bodies as they come out to make sure to verify try to figure out how they died.
Okay, yeah. Lloyd would help, but he's got a fairly significant injury, so he just really wouldn't be a lot of help. He can help with ropes and help him pull or make sure.
I mean, I've been in there already. I'm familiar with it. Bodies don't phase me.
And, that's probably your easiest bet is to maybe one of those extra tarp. You buy a set of 10. You're only gonna need 7 for wrapping. The other 3 maybe you could use to, line up a corpse, wrap it up in some whatever for dragging out purposes. And you can use the horses obviously for muscle power. So let's say still probably takes a good solid 2 hours to identify the posse members and get them out, and a little additional time to prepare them for travel, we'll say. Dr. Trout, why don't you just give me a general as opposed to each one of the corpses. So why don't we just sort of go with I'll let it up to you. Do you want to do a roll for each or one roll to rule them all?
Well, being cheesy, I would want to make a lot of rolls in case I blow it like I did the last one, and I might be able to get at least one I think I've gotten a success on medicine already, so that one's already checked. So I'll just make one roll, see how I do. Okay.
Have you made a roll tonight besides what's
I just
over your
rolled-
belt?
I just rolled another 96.
Okay, technically that is in the catastrophic failure layout, which
You want to roll. You know, you want to roll lower, right? Not higher. You're not going for 100.
Yeah. O2 is
So the last set
You're
was
positive that it's the measles. They all died of the measles.
the last set was the little barbs and cutting and sharp cuts. I mean,
yeah, I mean, you have an idea what you're looking for, so why don't we say let's roll with advantage? So one more roll, please.
If you roll 96 again, screw you.
yeah, I made a 74, but I needed an 80, so that's good enough.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, you identify insofar as the methodology of their deaths is actually, it doesn't really look. I mean, you find a couple barbs here and there, but it looks like, for the most part, it was the slash wounds, right? And of the one or two corpses that are largely intact, not burnt, etc., etc., their facial expression again is much like what you saw in the town of Wirt. Of sort of surprised,
Surprised, nonchalant.
Yeah, of just not knowing, kind of a unbelievable stare as they were passing on.
Yeah.
So, one second. So, okay, fair enough. So you have identified, for the most part, it does look like, again, it was sort of shock, and a lot of very sharp blades occurred. If this was the case, knowing the critter you just encountered yesterday, if you had tried to engage this creature at night, evidently, with limited vision, this thing clearly took down, 7 men very quickly. Examining their pistols and such, it does look like a few of them did fire their guns, but none of them even had fully empty cylinders. Like, a couple of them got a couple shots off, and that was it. I assume the sheriff also, where he can, he will gather up the guns and other things of relative value, again, to give to as close of relatives as he can find. While squishing and squishing around in the pit, there are, of course, lots of, or several other dead people in a more advanced state of decay. Does anybody want to dig through it to try to find anything of? I mean, there's probably a couple guns and
Yeah. The only thing that I would do before getting out is I'd go back to the area where I found the weird colored crystal in the granite and see if I can't remove a couple of pieces of it.
Okay. Do you have a pick or something
Only for his hair
to clang with?
I have a knife.
Okay.
This was a mine. Search the area.
Yeah.
Well, I guess while you're slushing around, you're pretty sure, at least on your feet, you hit 1 or 2 pickaxes.
Yeah, I'll take one of those. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Just take the arm that fell off with it.
Pretty horribly unpleasant, but fair enough. So give me. I'm assuming you don't have any actual like. Is there a mining skill? Did we include a?
No, there's no mining skill.
Probably not. But really, this is more of a. Well, I'm not too worried. You have good aim, so.
You can say that again. If I have to, I'll shoot it.
Right. So a couple of swings of the pickaxe, and eventually you do pop out a chink of this sort of bluish material. When it pops from the seam, it sparks a little bit, and weirdly enough, you hear a little bit of a scream.
Oh,
Like in the distance or from the rock?
From the rock.
The rock scream.
I like how you flipped that. You mean in the distance? Oh yeah.
Oh man, I gotta find another pickaxe.
Photograph.
The only thing you notice is, again, when you're swinging the pickaxe, when you did hit the sides of the wall, because it was so smooth, you actually had to do a couple, because the pickaxe would turn because of the finish, if you will, of the side of the.
Muttering under my breath that this isn't natural. Get out of this death pit.
so this is definitely not a body that was under that's still alive under there. It's something unnatural coming from the walls.
Well, you only have one sample to go off with.
I will pick up the pickaxe that he gets rid of,
Okay.
and I'm gonna go back to that same area and try to see if I can recreate the sound that he was, the instance that he was dealing with.
Okay. Go ahead and give me. You're pretty damn accurate with things too, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Fair
I figured it
enough.
would just be a half of a strength roll is what our goal would be.
Just go full strength roll. Full,
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, 38.
Sure.
Perfect.
Easy enough. Easy enough. I would say actually in something like that, it's not so much strength; it's more sort of dex to land the.
Oh.
precision of the-
Yeah.
Dex, then that would have been even better.
Yeah.
So, sure enough, you swing the pickaxe a couple times, and another chunk of this bluish material. You're assuming at this point this is, well, I'll shut up. Sorry. And again, there is, for lack of a better term, sort of a moaning. It's not a shrill scream or whatever, but it is a mournful sort of.
A mournful wail.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect. A mournful wail, and another chunk comes out, and it's not an insignificant part that came out. When you hit that second piece, everybody give me a listen roll, hard style.
So
Hard.
Hard.
So I have the keen hearing.
Son of a bitch. 96.
Does that make it normal or advantage?
Oh yeah, we never covered that.
What did we not cover?
What the bonuses were for keen hearing and eagle eye.
Okay, yeah, so originally when we were first kind of digging through it, right, we were just adding in extra percentage points
Yeah.
to like your listen or your scan kind of thing, right? I'm certainly open to the idea that perhaps that would give you advantage on such rolls. Which would you prefer, a higher percentage or advantage?
I think advantage is a gigantic advantage. Should probably be a higher. I mean,
Well, advantage
Yeah.
when you're rolling 220s is not that great.
An advantage for might be good in case you roll one as a 9.
Yeah.
well, that's true, but I don't know. I mean, that's why it's rare. You got to push a roll to get an advantage. Or,
Yeah, I'd say percentage.
Okay,
So
yeah.
for the
so-
rest of us, this is difficult, no advantage.
Well, no. So when I say hard, what that means is it's that second number on your sheet.
Right. So my listen is 35. So for me, it's 17.
Right.
Okay.
So that's different than advantage or disadvantage.
Right.
That's what you could do is you could basically say instead of a hard roll,
It's a normal.
it's a normal roll, and a critical roll would be a hard roll.
Oof.
Or is that too powerful too?
I think that's too powerful, to be honest.
Okay.
I think maybe both. If you have big ears, that would probably give you like a plus 15% chance on listening, and if you have like eagle eye, that would be a plus 15% chance, say, on scan. I think that's
I think that works.
Okay.
pretty good.
All right. So for
So
here,
that's
I
plus
have
15. Is that plus 15 to the? That's just plus 15 to the base, right?
Correct.
got it,
All right,
Yeah,
so
and
we
I
should
have-
just
and
put
I
that
have
in
keen-
now.
and I have keen
Yeah.
hearing, which that's
Yeah.
pretty nice. Yeah. It takes my listen up to 60. I like
Not
that.
4,055. That would be nice.
It wouldn't help. It doesn't help the fact that, of course, that I rolled a 96. It was what's the deal with 96 today?
What is it with you guys?
Gibson. Steve, thanks to be my brother. He gave me the Gibson gene on that one.
I guess so.
Here to help.
And Dr. Gabriel, I would like for you to correct your fast talk, so it is not 1,005.
You know what? I think it's
Whatever I want to be.
Yeah, well, why don't you make your fast talk on him?
You know what? I'm gonna ignore that because I can fast talk you out of your opinion on that.
Well, even
That's
at a
true.
hard, it means that you have a
Nice.
1 or something like that, so, or an extreme.
I needed a 27. I got a 27.
I got a critical.
What do we? Sorry, is this
Okay,
a listen
all right.
roll or something else?
And yeah, that's a good point. So if you roll, even if I say a hard, and you roll low enough where you got down to like the critical threshold, which is the smallest of the numbers, just say, hey, I got a critical, which means a little extra information will come to you. So Kip, you and Christopher, although both of you are in the pit, you hear a thud, and Kip, you hear even you're pretty sure you heard
You heard.
you
You
heard
done heard it.
a high-pitched whine right before the thud coming from the mine.
It was coming from Gustav.
Ooh.
Sorry, that was the dinner.
But it was after the pickaxe hit.
I will turn to Barnett and go, did you hear that?
Seemed to come from the mine.
Yeah.
I told you we should blow it up.
You hear
Let's see if it happens again.
You hear another thud.
Another thud?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh.
And
You don't
boys, how
suppose
does
that this was in line with that, do you?
I don't know, but maybe some of the words of what that thing was saying may have. He mentioned something, look for the evidence. I'm wondering if we just disturbed the evidence.
Ruh-roh.
Boom. Fourth thud.
Is it getting closer, or is it just coming from the same
no.
place?
Go back to or clamber out of the pit at this point. And probably go up to the horse.
At this point, everybody knows that there's a thudding noise coming from the mine.
And I'm going to grab a lantern and the dynamite.
Light and throw. Light and chuck. And next time, do what I say. When
You
it comes to blowing up shit.
you do get out of the pit. Takes you a couple seconds again, because at this point you've exposed a fair amount of the wall of the pit by sliding up stuff and just kind of clearing that stuff up and mucking around with whatever. It's pretty fucking smooth. I mean, it's kind of like, those pools that don't have the gritty surface, they have that smooth surface on the inside.
Oh, yeah. Where it's
Right.
all kind of smooth concrete, but then they've painted over it so that you don't really get any traction.
Yeah.
Can we say that we tied a rope to the wagon so they can come up and out?
Oh yeah. You've been hauling stuff up with the horses and stuff like that, but it's definitely slick. So while Vance and Christopher are getting out of the pit, Gabriel, Walt, and when Gustav returns, what all would you like to do?
Walt's a crack shot. He should go and investigate.
Yeah, I'll shoot you in a crack. If I can get any, since it was my idea to lighten Chuck, I'm gonna immediately look around frantically for the dynamite.
So, I think I had offered earlier to return one of the magic rounds or the super duper bullets.
Yeah.
Was that something that, or was it a casing that he wanted back?
He wanted the casing.
So does that mean I still have one of those super duper bullets?
I don't recall you telling me that you've dischambered it from your gun.
All right.
So.
I'm gonna take this time to draw my pistol and make sure that round is ready to go.
Okay. Vance, I believe you returned a shell back to Mr. Elks.
Yes.
Right. And Chris, you discharged both of yours.
Right.
My apologies. So Vance, you returned a casing.
Yes.
You didn't return the actual bullet.
No, I remember him saying the case.
Yeah. So I believe Vance, you still have one magic bullet.
One magic bullet.
And Dr. Gabriel, you have the other magic bullet.
It's Dr. Trout, and yes, I do.
Sorry, sir. So okay, so you chamber your magic bullet. Gustav and Walt, what do you? Walt, you give me a scan roll real quick at advantage.
18, easy.
Okay,
So I lay my eagle eyes on where the sticks of dynamite
in the
are.
thing, don't forget to check it off. Okay, you see the dynamite. It is on Vance's horse. You recall Vance putting it in a side saddle, because I assume, Vance, you are not lugging around two.
No, I'm not lugging around.
in a charnel pit. Gustav, what do you do?
I'm still behind them, but I'm looking in their direction. I'm just looking for any movement.
Okay, so you're looking though towards the mine for any particular movement.
Right.
Okay, so Walt, are you going to get the dynamite?
Hell to the yeah.
Okay, fair enough. You go the horse. The horses all seem spooked right now.
Oh, you think?
Call it intuition. I feel like something might try to stop us from doing this.
At this point, you hear a high pitch squeal, almost like a pig that's been stuck by something or other. It's it's a real high pitched, annoying. It's more annoying than anything else. You hear that sort of echo through the mine, and then you hear another sort of atonal, high-pitched noise. But you haven't heard a thump in about, you heard 4 distinct wham, 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 wham at this point. But there's, then you heard the sort of piglet noise.
All right.
Everybody's now out of the pit.
Okay, if I see Walt going up to my horse, I'm going to tell him to grab my guns. Because I was in a charnel pit in Waiters. Not wearing my guns.
At this point, Christopher, you're probably weaponless as well. Certainly not your favorite.
Yeah, and I'm heading
Marshall.
heading towards my horse to get my weapons.
Yeah, Marshall, why don't you get a poll of what we're all doing at this point? I mean, a couple of us have weighed in.
Right. Okay. So Dr. Trout, you lined up your shell.
I'm going to go to the wagon, and in addition, I'm going to go to the wagon and grab one of the lanterns if we need to go in.
Okay.
Strike it up.
Gustav, you are basically monitoring the entrance of the mine.
Right, and I would like my pistol drawn.
Right. Yeah. So weapon ready. Walt, you were basically retrieving stuff out of Vance's
saddlebags.
And Chris, you are
heading towards my horse to get my
Towards your horse, right.
get my gap.
okay. So everybody gets their stuff at this point. The sheriff is also gotten out of the pit and has readied both of his guns. And Lloyd, I'm trying to call him not Vance, not the other Vance. Lloyd's got his rifle and is setting it up, sort of laying it across the wagon, pointing towards the entrance of the mine. A few kind of beats, a couple moments, no more noise. It has become quiet again.
Have to go check.
Let's go in and check it.
I'm carrying. I got. I'm grabbing. How much dynamite did we have, by the way?
We had 10 sticks. There were 2 that were rolls of 3s. No,
I thought you had 12 sticks, 2 rolls of 5. And
yeah.
2 signals.
Yeah, that's right. It's 2 rolls of 5 and 2 signals.
Yeah.
All right, I'm taking a roll of 5, not lit, and I'm gonna kind of do my Walt thing, and I'm gonna kind of, since everyone's gathering and heading towards the tunnel, I will, adjust my grip on the dynamite and let other people kind of get in front of me.
Okay.
Just basically hang back while moving with the crowd towards the tunnel mouth.
Is that what doing the Walt thing is?
So what's your demolitions and your throw? Just
My throw, it's not great, but I got a good feeling about this one.
fair enough. Okay.
Demolitions. I'm not doing beautiful work where I'm drilling holes in the wall to get a precise collapse. I'm talking about light and chuck. Light and chuck.
So you, well, that's right. Vance, you did not have time. Well, how much of your discussion with Mr. Elks did you relate to everybody else?
I actually haven't.
Well, in fairness, it was always my plan. I was the one who suggested let's blow the mine up, and I've been saying that over and over again. So I think it's my character.
I agree. It's just Mr. Elks kind of.
But with that dynamite, I will bring that up at this point and be like, I was talking to Elks, and he said that we should really look at getting, if we're going to blow this mine, getting someone that knows about mining, because if we blow this and it accidentally fractures all the way back to that seal and breaks that seal, but it doesn't close up this tunnel, we let whatever's behind that seal out.
And you bring up,
except it's collapsed. It's covered in millions of tons of rubble
behind. I guess not the seal. The emblem that's on the wood. He calls it a border or a barrier.
So
he believes it's keeping something in.
So let's put it this way. We just heard a lot of noise before we go running into danger. Nothing's come out.
Yeah, but something's in there, obviously. It likes the movie Deliverance.
Let's go in and investigate.
Okay.
I got to hear a laugh on that one.
I mean,
no, yeah.
Blowing the door. I mean, some of those creatures went through the ground. So I'm not convinced that just sealing up the entrance is gonna solve our problem.
This is a fine time for doubt, Dr. Kraut.
Yes,
I think it's a fine time for us to go and deal with it and put a lot of bullets in it and then move
part
on.
of me agrees with Walt, because if you collapse the front here, the entrance to the mine, that means no one can go in and pull the Yeah, and fuck with the other wall.
No, I'm all for sealing it up after we've checked out what's in it. Make
Yes,
sure
yes,
nothing's
yes.
moving. That's
Oh,
all.
you're gonna be saying it's gonna be some little kid playing in there, and we'll be like, "Oh, we hear Mama!" Like, ah! As we plug the tunnel.
It's just two twins playing with a ball down the
There's a
floor.
basket of
Yeah.
kittens.
If we get in there and we hear a bunch of kids singing Farajaka, I'm out, and I'm gonna shoot one of you in the leg just so you're slower than I am.
So you start heading into the mine. Give me a marching order.
Sheriff's in front.
I've got a lantern. Does anybody else have a light source?
Yeah, I would have gone in to grab one of the lanterns with my
I
thing,
always
and
have a lantern.
I think of myself as a number 3 kind of person.
And sadly, because of my
We're going to be
Error.
1 and 2. 1 and 2, Vance.
yeah, I'm
Doesn't
either gonna
matter.
be first or second.
Yeah.
The loyalty hindrance.
I'm a lover, not a fighter.
Good shot. Where would you want to be?
I guess I'm number 3.
Ready?
I guess I'll be 4 then.
4. Well,
And no offense, Doc, do you have any of those rounds left that the good Mr. Elks gave us?
Because you want to give them to me because I'm the one who actually plugged the bad guy 3 times, right?
Well, no offense,
Oh, if
Doc.
only you had a
think Vance and I are the
45.
better shots.
I don't. Yeah, I have 1 round. You haven't seen me shoot yet because we had that goofy ass card thing. So initiative was always, but that's fine. I'll give the round up.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, good lord! How do we do that now? Yeah.
yeah. I mean, so we're doing it before we go in. I'm not changing rounds in the middle of the tunnel.
right. It's based off of Dex and preparedness, which can give you in effect a 50 plus on Dex.
Who, me?
Okay.
Just to get initiative order.
Yeah, my dex is a 90.
So, like, if you have a readied weapon and aren't surprised, in effect, as Dr. Gabriel Trout's example, 90 plus 50, you would be at 140. So he'd be going pretty close to first. Other people also have some pretty high decks here too. So
That's all right. I would prefer to not have to use this round, so I'm giving it up.
Okay. And it's not like the mine is only 3 feet wide, right? It's quite wide. So the sheriff also pulls up right in the front. Lloyd, he's bringing up the rear kind of slowly, doing the best he can.
And then just after the Doc gives me the round, that is the one that is chambered and ready to go.
All right.
Yeah, I learned that one the hard way. Oh yeah, it's the 6th one in the chamber. Shit.
So you head into the mine, lit fairly well. Several of you have lanterns. Go down the 40 odd feet. Everybody give me well, is anybody trying to be particularly quiet?
Oh yeah, definitely
Probably
going to try
kinda
to be
pointless of
quiet
all of
because Yeah.
What stat would that be?
Stealth.
that'd be stealth.
I was singing show tunes.
Yeah.
I forgot to
28
put-
out of 68 for me.
I forgot to put points in that, and I actually had some stealth on my character sheet.
Stealth.
That's okay. What we're going to do here, this would be considered sort of a group effort. So 28 out of 68 from Vance means that he got a hard success. So
And I also got a hard success.
okay, so that's very good news. So everybody else do their rolls.
Is this a normal roll?
Yeah, you're just stealthing.
Yeah, no.
Just
No,
stealth.
no.
I blew
I
it
needed-
pretty bad.
Needed 20, got a 63.
I needed a 20, got an 81.
Nice. Okay. Kind of right.
Standing next to me, that's your problem.
I told you. Why do you have a clown horn attached to the bottom of your boot?
I needed 45. I got a 63.
Hey, Vance, let's put it this way. The guys behind us are going to be so noisy, they're going to overlook us.
Run
They're
right
gonna
past
get through
me.
you to get to us.
Well, at least I'm number
Wow,
4, not number
okay.
3.
The sheriff and Lloyd actually pulled the overall group numbers down to a sufficient stealth,
Despite my clown shoe?
despite your clown shoe, because the sheriff also got a hard success. So basically, I'm counting the hard successes as 2 successes, right? So the successes beat the failures. Even though you're, especially Walt's not feeling particularly confident in his stepping, there's not that much clutter. And you head on down, and you get to the intersection to the left and to the right. Technically, you don't know if the sound came from the left or the right, but
I'm making a giant assumption that the thudding I heard was something hitting that barrier.
okay, so you want to head to the right then.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought the left was blocked.
That's the suggestion I'll make to everyone. That sounded like something was ramming something. The only thing I can think of that we know that's in that mine is that barrier.
Okay.
I thought the left was blocked when we came in before.
No, it continued on.
Oh.
An unexplored section, from your all's point of view.
Then someone should keep an eye on that as we head down. And
We can have not Vance do that since he's coming up to govern the route.
Lloyd says he'll hang back as long as he can have one of the lanterns.
He's the one that found the flares, so
That's true.
Flares, that's dynamite. Don't like that.
Whoops. They didn't label these very well. That one. This is a lousy flare. It's just kind of spittling.
this flare's got a wick. Wonder why.
Hard to say.
It runs out. Is the battery out?
So he holds up at the crossroads, proverbially speaking, and you all move on. You go down another 50 odd feet or so and hang another right, and you approach and come up to the wooden barrier. It is still intact. Everybody could give me, no, you'll do what you
I will
want to
try to examine the barrier, see if there are any hairline cracks, dust that is blown through the cracks in the boards, that type of thing.
Okay, so the people up front, so that's going to be Chris and Vance. Both give me a spot hidden roll, please.
Ooh.
Damn, 0.8 out of 73.
Jeez, okay. Make sure you check off that motherfucker.
I could beat you a 1.
Really?
Yes.
Damn.
Wow.
So
God himself points out.
That's right. Things illuminate for you. Okay, a few moments of
I got a 1 for you there. Burn it.
your bullseye lanterns. Even if they weren't lanterns, somehow they became bullseye lanterns. You come across a couple things. One, from your recollections before, the lock of hair has moved, and it's a little bit further down on the seal, as far as Vance called it. Vance, you did. Oh, that's cool. That's a good prop, man.
Yep, it's the bullseye lantern.
Vance, you would see it as this lock of hair has slid down further on this sort of amplified elder sign. You also notice quite a bit more dust at the bottom of the wood. So it's all boarded up, right? And so at the bottom, there is dust, as though something has slammed into that, relatively thick wood, because it's made of a mixture of whatever the hell the front door was originally made of, and ties from the mine track. So it's not just little thin clapboard. It's pretty thick wood, so there's sort of dust there, and you do notice one or two boards has maybe shifted to the point where if you wanted to, you probably with your bullseye lantern and such, you could probably stick your face there and try to get a view of what the hell is beyond.
I'm not going to put my face there, but I'll put the lantern there and look behind the lantern.
Yeah.
Or you could do you could do a lantern and then a mirror maybe. So
Yeah.
something comes through, it'll just slash into your mirror as opposed to right into your face. But
put the lantern there and say, "Hey, Walt, take a look."
Sharp eyes.
Wow, Walt, would you look at that?
I'll hold the lantern for you.
Feel underappreciated.
Do you take a look?
Yep.
The drywall right next to it.
Leave it up to the dice.
Exactly.
It takes a moment for your looking through the crack, and you're kind of panning through with the lantern. It takes a little bit of time for your eyes to adjust, and as you kind of pan the light, you can't pan it too much because you're really just beaming through
a small area,
a crack in the bordering, as it were, boarding. And as you sort of pan the light sort of back and forth, slowly as you pan it away, there's still an after effect of some sort of blue light. You guesstimate maybe 30 feet down or so and to the left. And you get you're not getting a whole lot of light from the lantern in there, but you get the feeling that the shaft doesn't go more than about 40 feet before it looks like it dead ends. But about 30 odd feet and to the left, there seems to be something that's emitting some color of light, some bluish, maybe even something about that color of light.
There's some sort of light source, it seems, or maybe it's a reflection. I can't really tell.
But it is a color that is, it's not the same color as the sort of rich or buttery yellow of the whole thing.
Say it's slightly blue?
Yeah.
So it makes me think of the rock that was out in the pit.
True.
I shine the flashlight on the piece that I have.
Okay.
Does it seem like that's the kind of blue that might have been coming from there?
It certainly seems similar. Now, the piece that you have would be, it's intermixed with some quartz and impurities. So it's not like you have this perfectly sort of sandwiched piece of glass between two chunks of stone or whatever, so you can beam the light straight through. But yeah, it does seem to have a similar color. The sample that you have in your hand, though, as you pull away the light, does not emit its own light.
Yeah. All right. Looking back at this emblem or what have you on the wall, do I get the idea that this is a finished product?
You do, yes.
Okay.
That is just a hunch. Mr. Elks did not seem to indicate that it was unfinished. He was able to identify it, so you're feeling relatively confident that it is a finished example or a finished item.
I'm wondering, does the pit have anything to do with what's on the other side?
They're saying the blue is kind of the same. The sudden stop when we hit it. So logically, there's a connection. Now, that being said, I think we should take Mr. Elk's advice and let's not do anything that breaches this barrier. I think we had a close call in what we did. Now, what that connection is, I have no earthly idea. It just seems to be this area is just an attraction of the unnatural.
Do you think what we did in the pit might have
I was thinking that because
harmed this?
Nothing happened until you started messing with that purple quartz stuff.
Which would seem that there's a tie to what's ever behind there, to what's in the pit. Now, we also know there isn't any leave-ins or sprawl from how that pit was created, which you would expect, with a hole that size, and you've been in it that deep, that there would be tailings or some sort of indication of where this was dug out, unless something or someone took the effort to haul that far, far away, which frankly it doesn't make any sense.
Well, whatever it was, it's not getting out right now. I suggest we let sleeping demons die.
So it was a sense that we get that we started messing with the walls of that pit and something started slamming up against this gate.
So
barrier. Did it damage the box? There's dust on it and it said the hair slipped.
Yeah.
So do we need to put the hair back where it was before?
Do we remember where the hair was? I'd hate to.
Yeah, I've got a photographic memory or whatever. So.
Somebody has a message.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, as you're kind of discussing the pros and cons of this, Vance, you see that bright light, or that blue light getting significantly brighter.
Oh, hey, it's getting brighter.
Brighter as it's getting closer?
I can't tell. It's just getting brighter. I don't hear nothing.
You hear that same high-pitched whine.
Uh-oh.
Outside. A bright, quick, a flash, much like one of those newfangled photograph flash powder things, kind of thing happens. Your eyes have to adjust for just a second, right, as you're kind of reporting this. And make a stand roll.
A 30.
30.
You.
Embellishment.
Wait, I have a PDF of this. I can check that way. I will use modern technology. Quote unquote.
If I succeed, it's a how much of a sand loss?
Sort of, yeah.
Is it a 1d3 to a 1d10? If this is holding back some sort of elder god, I'm gonna be pissed.
Well, you've finally done it. You killed us all.
I'm not going to throw something that bad at you that quick. I mean, come on.
There's only one God.
I agree with you on that.
But did you pick the right one?
I just wasn't expecting y'all to linger this
You
long.
have chosen. He chose poorly.
All right. Here we go. Okay. You see, kind of almost run around in the cavern area that you're looking into. Some sort of an insecty looking bug, but it's big. And when I mean big, I mean person size big.
Oh no.
With a tail. Its wings don't look particularly formed very well. It just runs around for just a moment or three, and then goes again to the left. You see another bright flash, and again your eyes sort of adjust a little bit, and back to sort of a blue light that is sort of slowly fading.
That was weird.
What was weird?
I saw some kind of big insect type thing.
Almost the color of one of those fancy Eastern restaurants where they sell the shrimps and crabs and such. About that color.
Does it have any resemblance, Vance? Do you think it has any resemblance to the things that we fought so far? You know, the little grubs?
No. This was totally different. This thing had some sort of wings with it too. But what was weird is it ran across and then it ran down to the left, and then there was another flash of light, almost like it was like it had opened a door, then ran out from that door, and then opened another door and shut it behind itself.
Like a door opening and then closing again.
Yes. It doesn't make me want to take down the boards here, but
Well, if anything, it wants me to keep it up and reinforce it.
yeah. I'm kind of looking around going, do you think we can get these railroad ties up here as a kind of blockade on the
a perfectly reasonable thing to do. It actually occurs to you kind of like, actually.
Probably wouldn't be a bad idea if we start trying to pull these ties up.
The good thing is whatever was running around in there, you're not hearing again.
Yep.
And it didn't run towards you at all.
No. So it didn't run towards me, which is fine. The more it stays away from this wall, the better. But I do believe that there is something alive back there.
So is this behind the barrier or
behind the wood paneling? Yes.
Okay, all right, behind
On the other side of the weird wall.
So I mean, something's sealed in there. It's been sealed in there for a while, presumably, by this.
Well, if you remember from what Mr. Elk said, when they were here a while,
this wasn't here.
Originally, this barrier wasn't here. And then when Gustav and I originally came in here, we heard the other creature chanting in a weird Latinish phrases and banging on something. Now, I can't prove it, but it would seem to be whatever it was doing may be associated at the very least with this, what do you call this? A sigil? A sign? Combined with the fact that it was the hair from the whore back in Coldwater. I think we could say that it did this, and it kept mentioning something about looking at the pit for the evidence, and then when we started hammering at that quartz, this happened. Seems to be a tie between that activity and what happened between us hammering on that and what happened in here.
So, I mean, I don't know how much I guess I have to believe in this stuff, but it seems like that thing, in order to seal up that thing, it killed a whole bunch of people, either in the pit.
Well, from what Mr. So there's a couple of unanswered questions here. I think one of them is what were those miners doing here? Were they looking to reopen the mine, hoping to find gold, or were they here more for an unnatural purpose? This creature that we slew seemed to be saying that what it did was for a greater good.
Yeah, you do recall the creature did mention that what was going on was for a greater good.
Right before you shot him in the sack. Christopher.
Twice. That was the
Twice.
conversation we had first.
That was before we got the balls to come in here.
Yeah.
After we were warned not to.
You shot him in the sack.
Nice.
I think it was who first heard the voice of the critter. Was it-
Yeah, so the notes that what I recall, it was the voice. I heard a voice from the mind talking about something about protecting the earth. Intruders can't be tolerated, that we should go away. This had all been regrettable but necessary. Something about a native soul, and that if he had not been followed, there wouldn't be any bloodshed, and a patsy could have been provided. Inspect the pit and find the evidence, and approach me and die.
Good times.
Then we marched in there.
Now, I don't have too many regrets from what I did. What it did originally and what it did to that town, there needed to be a reckoning. But it seems that in its misguided purpose, it was trying to do something here that, frankly, I have no experience with. That being said, this place is giving me the creeps. Vance, Gustav, gentlemen.
You don't
think it's
include
worth
me.
trying to reinforce this wall?
I
Or does it
think
not need to be
reinforcing.
just in case we accidentally do something to the sign and knock it off and let God knows whatever comes on the other side comes through,
I got a great idea.
other than
Ready?
blowing up the entrance.
No, I've got a great idea, Christopher. All right, I say we hire a mason to say maybe about 10, 20 feet back from where this wall is to do like to completely support the roof and put in a massive brick wall with no door. Then we blow the fucking cave. That will help prevent. I mean, if we got like a professional mason who's like, I want this thing to be so over engineered, even if we, I don't know, blew up the front of the cave, it wouldn't disturb the seal and we'll keep whatever is back there.
I didn't
mean,
see
we
it.
got enough money. Sir, you hire somebody, you pay them $100 to seal this, and then we blow it.
I didn't see it, but didn't you guys say it was a giant insect?
It was you said it was human sized.
Yeah, that's giant to me.
I mean,
Giant
I think
human-sized insect.
my solution, my elegant solution has two. We help prevent damaging the seal or collapsing this part of the cave, but we blow up everything else. How is that not a win-win?
How do we know the giant insect thing isn't an ally?
I don't care if it's like under 1 million pounds of stone. We've lived without the Allies' help. If there's nothing's coming out of that tunnel because we've, I don't know, blew up like a 50 feet, and yet we preserved from damaging it. And oh, God forbid we still damaged it. That's another wall that has to get through all the. How is this a bad plan?
Well, I say we just get the hell out of here and we bring somebody back that can blow the entrance to the mine closed.
Well, yeah, but
let us recall that Mr. Swearingen had some interest in here, and I believe, Gustav, you were correct, or maybe Dr. Trout, that he did say that nothing should be going on here, so he may have some more knowledge that can help fill in the gaps. I think he's at this point he may be more tied to this mine than we think. Did you ever think to mention his name to Mr. Elks, Vance?
No.
I don't see how it would have came up.
No, I never even thought about doing that because Swearinger, he's more of a, how should we put this, shady character than the good Mr. Elks would be.
He has occasional entanglements that are beside the law.
Yes.
And what better way to seal something than to do it? Vance, I agree. I think we have spent too much time here. It looks like the wall, for good or for ill, is stayed. I think we should get these poor souls back to their families. Let Mr. Swearinger know what we have found, and
then collect our rewards.
I'll assume that the sheriff has been checking in on Lloyd.
We could always ask the sheriff, what do you think of Swearinger?
But
He has an interest in the mine.
it seemed to me that this boom 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 happened. You've made the correlation that the boom 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 happened right as you pickaxe the blue shit out of the pit, right? So if you can stop people from hitting the blue shit out of the pit, maybe there won't be any more boom boom boom.
So that would suggest that we should fill in that pit full of dirt so nobody even knows it's there.
well, we're not doing
All
that.
things I have already said.
True.
I'm all for blowing the mine entrance. I'm all for filling in the pit, giving those, having us saying some prayers over the Irish bodies because they're Christians. But
I mean, basically all this requires is,
Boomsticks. Which we have 12 of.
Maybe if you just simply offer to Mr. Elks, here's some cash. Here's what we're pretty sure it needs to be done. Hire one or two guards and arrange for this stupid pit to be filled in after getting out whatever bodies that the priest might think, for quote unquote Christian sakes. Okay, sure, dig out the bodies, whatever, but fill in the stupid ass pit before something bad happens.
That's actually not a bad idea.
Seeing what just happened, I think that's probably a prudent idea.
sounds good.
Yeah, we might be overthinking this. Maybe we should do it at this point.
At least that'll buy you some time to figure out what else might need to be done, right? I mean,
All right, so Walt, would you mind taking down and copying that before we seal this place up? Would you mind copying the symbol that's on that board?
Yeah, that went so well the other time I did that.
Well, when I looked at your notes, they're meticulous.
Yeah, until I'm like, oh.
Well, that's not my problem, really.
All right. Yeah, I can do that.
it's strictly not my problem.
I mean,
if it leads to us blowing, I still like my plan of sealing this thing off further. And
so do you guys want me? Do you want? Should one or two of us go back and talk to Elks while we're working these details?
Yeah, I think that's not a bad
I think
idea.
Vance, you have the best relationship with him.
Yeah, I could ride back.
But don't you also have the best relationship with the Freemason guy?
I thought Elks was the Freemason.
Elks is the Freemason guy.
No, I'm talking about going back to the original
back to Clearwater and talking to our original employer.
Yeah, to find out what he thinks about the mine.
Wait. I mean, stuff's already happening. All right, I just want to point out this: that not much time has gone by. Stuff still is going on in this place, and I don't think I think this thing should be watched constantly
No, I
until
agree
we
with
blow it up.
I agree with you. However, what's his name? Elkridge, is that the guy's name?
Elk.
No, Elks is the free. Who's the guy that hired us to start with?
Swearingen.
Swearinger.
So Swearinger might have some information that would help us with our decision.
But that's like it would take 4 days to get there and back.
No, it's
Yeah.
like a day and a half.
Yeah, he's like a day and a half away. I'm not going to ride a day and a half away to ask him his opinion and then ride back to you guys.
Well, that's
I mean, so you
okay.
can just pull
That's
out your
okay.
cell
You can
phone and
ride.
call
You can
him.
ride 2 hours away, and I'll ride a day and a half. I don't mind doing it.
Because we're going to take the bodies back anyways and talk to Swearinger.
Right, but if you're making decisions about sealing up the pit and
then-
closing up the mine, I think that he has an interest in the mine and he has knowledge about the mine that he has not shared with us.
Right.
I'm going to point out 2 things. Obviously, the mine and the pit are bad places, right? Bad things are here, and either good people could be drawn here for noble reasons and set it off, or bad people or creatures could come here intentionally with the purpose of setting it off.
Did I say
So-
that I disagreed with the
No,
idea?
no,
of
I'm
sealing
saying
the mine
I was
up
leading
or
to my
closing-
third point, which is this place needs to be watched so that nobody just strolls in here and starts mucking around like journalists or people
Okay,
like,
so-
oh
so
wow, I heard the
You've got a
mine could
town.
be-"
You've got a town that has heard about the horror at this mine. I think the odds in a day and a
I don't
half of
think
somebody
anybody's
coming.
just gonna wander in here.
Yeah, it's not like it's
For
not like
what?
random adventure seekers are going to show up tomorrow. It's going to be a while. I think we've
I
got a
think
little bit
this-
of time, especially if you guys. I mean, happy to take the wagon we got the 7 bodies out. We can take the wagon back, and I can talk to Swearingen, and I can fast ride it back here. With what or 1 or 2 of us can go. Sheriff needs to get back to his town anyway. So my suggestion would be we some of us stay in the town that's near this mine to keep our ear to the ground while we just acquire a little bit of extra information before we dynamite the entrance and realize we shouldn't have.
I would say this. My suggestion would be that we basically recruit elks to have other people, at least 1 or 2, well-bodied, psychologically sound individuals to help us guard the mine. And either 2 or 3 of us go back. I should probably go back given my skill set with my character. Either in say Vance and not to volunteer Chris, but I think Chris and another one of our players, and then with help from the town, should keep basically camp at the mine to make sure nothing bad accidentally or intentionally happens in the mine.
I mean,
They have they have the magic bullets, and they basically sit on it until we come back, either with advice or we come back with like, yeah, let's blow it. That's my suggestion.
I mean, if that need be, I would volunteer to stay. Since Christopher and I have, this will be the 3rd time we've been to the mine. Might as well see it through.
Who's the big spoon? Okay.
He's my big spoon.
Yeah.
So who broached the original deal with Swearingen?
I believe that was me.
Yeah, I believe that was.
Well, we need you here in this town to deal with the Freemason guy. And
All right. Well, why don't I kind of like the idea of filling in the hole and burying these poor saps.
that's like a 2-day job anyway.
Yeah, you
Right.
can
But
do
I
that
kind of
while
like
we're
the
at-
idea.
Go ahead. So
I kind of like the idea of talking to Elks and seeing if he could get some people to come out here to pull the bodies out and then bury these poor souls. Then who knows? Maybe they can start filling in that hole.
Yeah, I mean, pulling out the rest of the remains. I mean, you got 7 out in about 2 hours, right? There's, we guess maybe 15 more. So it's really about 4 or 5 hours of work to get the rest of the money.
And a couple of buckets.
All right. Well, I mean, I think that still leads back to some of. Yay, we split the party. We know how that goes.
And when we go back to Swearinger, we'll tell them pretty much the townspeople learned about the dead there, and they went and exhumed the bodies and filled in everything, but they left the mine alone.
because there's some really bad shit in the mine.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I'm going to go back to town with the wagon.
I'll go because I
Sheriff is
think
going back to the town with the wagon. Probably Lloyd is going back to the town with the wagon, right?
Yeah.
So the sheriff and Lloyd can drive the wagon. I'll take my horse. We'll just ride and wagon it. How long is it going to take us to get back to Clearwater? Sweetwater.
Let's hear from Etna to Coldwater, following the trails, as opposed to the kind of wacky way you all did it. Probably about a 12-hour ride.
Okay. Well, let's get started.
Yeah. Okay. So Dr. Trout and I will.
It's probably
we'll
not
go.
too much. It's probably around noon now, right?
Yeah.
All right. So we'll just do it. We'll just go until we get there. The wagon, we can swallow.
It's probably close to like 10 o'clock in the morning still. I mean,
Okay.
you know.
Yeah. So we're gonna hit the road and get back, and I'll talk to Swearingen. Walt, you're coming with me to talk to him.
Yeah, because I'm better at
right.
talking than you.
Would you guys mind summing up what we want to tell Swearingen as far as what happened here at the mine?
I'll let Walt do that. He knows.
Yeah.
No, just let's get our.
Walt's good at talking.
Walt's good at talking, but we need to let him know what he's going to talk about. So.
Well, I mean, I think the summary is, all right. So let me just kind of recap. Swearingen asked us to check out what's going on at the town.
At the mine.
And what's going on at the mine. And what's going on at the mine is there's something evil in the mine that's being kept in there.
At what we found at the mine was some Irish guys moved in and started doing something there, probably mining, a month ago.
They were all pretty much to a man killed by whatever evil was associated with the mine. We managed to kill that evil.
Well, they were killed by something. Then the guy that was murdering people in Sweetwater, whatever.
Coldwater.
Oh, the guy who was murdering people in Coldwater came here and did some sort of ritual, we think. Did some sort of strange heathenly act.
But then we killed him. We interfered with him, and he attacked us. And then
we killed him, but
his.
There's still a sense of dread and foreboding, and there's some sort of we're worried that if this mine isn't closed up, that something other bad things will happen. We'd like to seal it up. Or what before we say that, what do you know about the mine?
Let's review who owns the mine again.
It's not Swearingen, but he knows the guy who does, or something.
You all came across the name.
Is it Hearst?
Mr. Larrabee, why don't you give me a knowledge roll?
Oh yeah.
No roll?
No problem. Oh yeah, I got it.
It was Mr. Craven.
Got it.
So this is known as the Craven Mine.
The Craven Mine, and they more or less closed it because it wasn't productive enough.
Right, and evidently whiskey disappears every now and then.
Yeah, we know about that. Whose whiskey was that? Was that yours, Gustav? Was that mine? I guess somebody's whiskey.
Oh, that was mine. That was my head glass.
I think Vance, was it yours?
No, it was mine.
No, it's Dr.
Okay,
Trout's.
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay, well, we know about that. So that's like some kind of low-level residual haunting. All right, so we basically we are
a level 2 free-forming poltergeist or free-moving poltergeist.
It's a level 3. Grab it. That was your plan. So we are of the opinion that we want to blow the mine entrance such that it doesn't disturb the shaft that which we have observed horrible creature.
So my suggestion is we share what we found out, we share what happened, and then we ask what additional information he knows about the mine.
Yeah.
And then say our suggestion is we still got to, and then we continue with our recommended course of action, which is we want to seal the mine up so that nobody else goes in there.
And if Swearingen's okay with that, or if he's neutral and he's like, I'm not going to tell you to do it or not do it, then I'd say the gods are good that we can find a miner who's got a demolition explosives, and we basically put him on a retainer and have him do the, rig up, drill the holes and mine the entrance properly. I mean, there's a good chance we can find a miner.
Somebody in that town might have some knowledge with those explosives enough to, I think that's a good course of action. Anybody disagree?
No.
And I think for good luck, we sacrifice Gustav's left hand. We just lop it right off.
Hey, I need that.
I said left hand. I'm just being reasonable.
That's the stranger.
hand.
When you tell him,
Stranger danger.
when you tell them about what we've done here, I think it would be apropos to say that 2 of our folks arrived earlier. They found a pit full of dead men that could have been miners, and there was someone in the mine. Considering it was just the 2 of them, they did not enter the mine. They pulled back from the mine, waiting for the rest of us. Went into town. We found out that there were a bunch of Irish miners that came in and had been working the mine, but they hadn't been seen for the last 4 days. So then we all got together and we went back. The sheriff and one of his posse men showed up telling us that all of a posse had been killed and they were found dead in the pit. This must have happened after we left.
Where do we think they were actually killed again?
Well, they were in the pit, so they must
We know
have
they're in the
around
pit, but they weren't killed in the pit.
Remember the conversation with Lloyd as they came running through the night, and pretty much it almost sounds, if I recall correctly, may have to spend a chip or a no roll for this. They just happened on the site, and then the creatures that you remember that burrowed out got them.
Okay.
I thought they had cuts on them, so it would be reminiscence of what we met.
Yeah.
So I think they came across the guy, and he killed them, and so did whatever was in the pit, feasting off of the others.
The barbs were sort of incidental. It was mostly
Yeah.
slash wounds that killed them. So I think he killed them to power up some sort of ritual, and that's what that pit is there.
I think he killed them just not to be found and discovered and told.
Then we all approached.
You guys messing with that ring had a direct effect on the seal,
right?
On the ward.
I mean, Christopher and Vance know that the seal was definitely. If the creature was working on the seal was being worked on before the additional slaughter of the second posse, right?
Yeah.
So just putting in chronologically putting in stuff.
Yeah. So they obviously interrupted him, which is what Christopher and Gustav thought about doing, but then thought better of it.
No, they'd be slaughtered.
And then the poor saps came in behind them and got slaughtered.
Yep.
And so then we came back in daylight, thinking we would have an advantage in daylight. And we encountered him and we slew him.
Well, let's face it. The only ones who really did anything were mostly me, but then Christopher finished him off when he shot him in the sack.
Okay, give yourself all the credit in the world you want to. However, he was dispatched. And then when we came to get all the rest of the bodies, we heard some noises coming from in the mine. And lo and behold, there's something that's actually behind this mine shaft with this emblem. Have you sketched this emblem out yet?
Well, that was the plan.
You've got a relatively good facsimile without, unless you want to, pressing paper up and doing, whatever.
Let's not
At
do
this
that.
point, that
Let's
might
not do that.
be not the best idea because that might dislodge the hair at this point.
Yeah, and that's not gonna. I'll just take a picture.
But you got the general thing. There's a lot of very surprisingly intricate etchings on it. I mean, real intricate crap. So.
All right. Well, I mean, it doesn't hurt me to use my. I'm gonna try to drive. I'm gonna go ahead and invest the time and maybe a roll to try to make an incredibly detailed drawing of it.
Okay.
Let's see if I'm slack-jawed when I'm done.
Let's see.
Oh yes, when we approached them during the day, we should also mention about the creatures that came out of the pit that we fought off. Then we fought off the baddie inside the mine.
And there's a demon horse that has adopted you.
Well, yeah, that we chased off a demon horse.
He's actually watching you right now.
Mind you, Vance is telling you all this stuff because you're the one who's going to be relating.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's helpful. I appreciate it.
Your art skill is not exactly high.
No. Well, I can do my best.
Yes. Go ahead and roll.
23. It's not bad.
Okay, well, on your character sheet, and perhaps you can give me clarity on this. I see art and craft, and right below it is journalism at 55.
Well, it's my skill in journalism is 55.
Okay, so your skill in arts and craft is, well,
I mean, I thought that was a subset. You had to have a subset of arts and craft, and my art and craft was journalism.
yeah, your specialty is certainly in, well,
I mean, I made
okay.
half. It would be a hard roll.
Okay, you got a hard. Okay, all right, fair enough. Okay, yeah, you're pretty confident on your renditioning of what you can now call I call it a for future reference until you find out the actual name of it, which I haven't just told you all yet. But you could just call it an Elder Symbol version 2. It does have a specific name though.
Okay. All right. So I've done that. So looks like we're right about 10. So I guess, so the plan is Dr. Trout, Sheriff Lloyd, and me are going to ride back with the bodies to Coldwater, let the sheriff do what he needs to do. We're going to settle up with Swearinger, relate our story, get his input and advice on what he knows about the mine, and we'll convey our story, particularly our recommendation to below the mine, and if he's amenable, we'll try to find somebody with demolition and mining expertise to bring back. While we're doing all of that, you're going to basically coordinate with Elks and the town folk to maintain a watch on the mine, a strong watch and so whatever stays in there, and no one walks in randomly or purposefully. Does that sound about right?
That's probably your biggest concern is, you're convinced on your storytelling that the people are appropriately wary of the mine itself. They were before. They knew it. Elk said, it was haunted. That's why it was boarded up in the first place. It was freaking haunted. The fact that the haunt attracted something else, well, shit, that doesn't surprise us, kind of a thing, So you don't think you're going to get a lot of looky-loos from town. So the odds of just a random person coming by is pretty low. So, that's sort of the good news.
I got that. I think if this place is that evil, there's stuff that could either get out, or evil people or things could try to get back in. That's my concern. People are deliberately going there to cause trouble.
That's the appropriate place to put your concerns. Yeah.
So anyway, that's what I think. If that sounds good with everybody, we can have a good plan of action for next week if everybody's free.
Yeah.
Sounds real good. All right, guys.
Okay.
All right, everyone have a
And
great
whoever's
day.
watching,
Great week.
thank you for watching, and we'll be back next week.
See you next time.